How y'all doing? It's Saturday, I know. So we're not gonna, we're gonna get through this because I don't know everybody else, but we have busy schedules, and I figure I would record this real quick before I go pick up my son and do our whole basketball day. We've talked about a lot of different things, and today I kind of want to connect the dots a little bit because we've talked about so much. We've talked about God's will, self-will, reaching out to others. Remember, we're only as sick as our secrets. It's Saturday, excuse me. We talked about getting our will and God's will in line together, and that is definitely really our ultimate goal. What else? We talked about dreams, and dreaming and listening to that inside voice to figure out which way to go next. And so kind of what I want to do is kind of connect the dots on all of this. Definitely one of our goals is to get our will and God's will, lined up together. Because really what happens is, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed in their life, is I'll usually have a bad day when I don't get what I want. And I really started looking at my days and I'm like, well, why did I have a bad day today? It's because I didn't get what I want. So once I started thinking about God's will and my wants, I said, well, if I get my wants lined up with what God wants for me, then, I'll be able to put together a string of good days. And that's what started happening. So when we started lining up our will with God's wills, that's just saying, what I want in my life is the same thing that God wants in my life. And I don't know anybody else. I love getting what I want. Getting what I need, okay, that's cool. That's great. But I love getting what I want. And that want, need thing, we can go on about that, and that probably needs to be one day of just talking about wants versus needs, and how adults make decisions versus how parents make decisions. We definitely go on about that. But getting what I want. So when I get my will and God's will is lined up, I start getting what I want, and like I said, is getting what you want is kind of like the gravy. The one is the gravy. We all like that part. Ultimately, that's one of the goals that we want to achieve. The question is, okay, well, how do we get there? How do we get to that point? Well, that's what we talked about, an inside voice. You listen to your inside voice, it will direct you to that point. That inside voice will definitely direct you there. So after you get the directions on where you want to go, then all that's left is just getting there on a daily basis. Every day doing a little bit more to get there. And sometimes the car is going to malfunction and we need to go to a mechanic. And that's kind of like reaching out. The carburetor gets clogged up, or flat tire, or whatever it may be, something we can correct. I really shouldn't say flat tire. Let's say some of the internal parts, like the carburetor, or the cam, or whatever other parts of the engine that really require a mechanic, really require somebody to assist us. We may try to rig it up and keep going, but the car's gonna stop again real fast. And that's kind of the analogy that I like to use for we're only as sick as our secrets. So we have a goal that we want to go to, lining our will and God's will up together. We're going to have that direction on where we need to go, because we're going to listen to our inside voice, and we're going to get there. We know that listening to our inside voice, which is going to give us that direction, it requires for us to water that flower and put that flower in sunlight and keep it clean and keep the weeds away. And what's going to assist us in doing that is reaching out to others. That's going to help us keep cleaning our vessel. Um, um, and one of the other things that also, say, during those times that the car breaks down, or even when the car is running smoothly, is gratitude. Is gratitude. You know, gratitude, I kind of would think about like, it's like a car wash. You know, when your car's running good, you clean it up, you shine it up, you put Armor All on it. You know, whether you wash it or you have somebody else wash it, you know, gratitude is like getting your car washed. Now, the funny thing about a car wash is that whether you have a brand new car or an old car, your car always looks better. And for whatever reason, drives better after it's clean. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I've noticed that. I'm like, God, this car drives a lot better uh, when it's clean. And, you know, so that's why I kind of like to look at it that way. Um, so, you know, gratitude is the car wash. Whether we're feeling good or we're not feeling good, um, um, we're going to have gratitude. And gratitude can help you get you through those tough times when you're not feeling the best about your car. And I like to say, I'm just using that as just something um, just so we have a picture in our mind. So you know, we're gonna keep our vessel clean. You know, we're talking with other people and with gratitude. And that's kind of where we're at now. I mean, next week we'll talk about um, humility, and you know that'll be Monday. We'll talk about humility, and you know we'll add some other things in there that will help keep our vessel clean. You know, because not only do you have to wash a car, but you also have to change the oil in it and change the tires in it. So there's a couple of other things that you need to do to keep it, you know, maintained. So, and there's a couple of other things that we're gonna have to make sure that we watch on so that we stay maintained and able to receive a blessing. Because I don't know about anybody else, I like blessings. I really, really do. But I know that if I'm not in a position to receive a blessing, I'm not gonna get a blessing. When I started out with this book, when I started out writing the book, the guy told me something. He said, you know, the only difference between you and some famous author, Gene, is that famous author, he started a project, and guess what? He finished it. He says, if you don't finish the book, how can God bless your book? And I was like, you know what? That's right. You know, so we have to be, we have to give, you know, we have to give God a chance to work. Another good story I like to tell is, you know, in the Bible, when Jesus went to that wedding, it would have been hard for him to multiply all that fish and wine if there wasn't any fish or wine. You see what I'm saying? You got to give God something to work with. What's that saying? Faith without works is dead. And how, you know, that is so true. So, you know, you got to do a little something, you know, to get a blessing. So we will definitely talk more on that Tuesday because there's definitely a whole lot we can talk about. God bless you all. I hope you have a good Saturday. Be safe. You know, love your kids or your mate, or if not, just love a stranger. How about that? So anyway, y'all have a good Saturday.